Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It is your fit dog, aka Kristen Simone. I'm back with your weekly dose of medicine. If you are new here, welcome. Thanks so much for choosing to watch me. I hope that I give you some type of insight in whatever it is you want to do. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you're notified every time I post a video. I promise you will not regret it and you will not want to miss it. So today I'm just going to talk about like my journey so far since I'm like a month into medical school. And I'm going to talk about my misconceptions. I'm going to talk about what I thought about medical school before I even started. I'm going to talk to you about my thoughts. I'm going to talk to you about where I am now and where my thoughts are now. Okay? So we're going to hop right in. So in the beginning, like, of course, whenever I applied, I thought that it was going to be like, you know, lecture, and then I would study, and then I would still have time for a balanced life. You know, I thought that I'd be able to post 1 million videos a day. I thought that I would be able to, I don't know, just maintain everything. And to be honest, it's been more of a transition for me. I think that it's just been kind of hard trying to balance everything, and I think part of it is that, well, it's just like life changes for me. It's not necessarily like medical school in itself. I think that you learn your own groove, and particularly for my school, we do things like differently. Every school does things differently, but we typically have lecture from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and within that time frame, we may have a small group at 10 o'clock that has to do with like a certain topic, such as clinical epidemiology, where we learn about how to read different research when it comes to, like, I don't know, community health type things, or whether we're learning about like what a test actually tests for, if it's valid, if it's specific. We learn about those terms, but we may have a small group that has to do with histology, where we're learning about like the different cells of the body and what it looks like under a microscope. So all of that is pretty much comprised from 8 to 12. And then on 2 days out of the week, we have a lab, and that can be a microbiology lab. Right now, it's micro lab because we have not touched our cadaver yet. We've not even met our cadaver, so I don't think we're going to meet ours until like October. So actually, tomorrow is my last microbiology lab. So after tomorrow, I won't have a lab until October, which is going to be a pretty nice let up. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Lectures typically from 8 to 12, and micro lab is from 2 to 4 p.m. on either day of the week. It just depends on what your group aligns with. And then another day you have PCC. If you've been following me ever since I started medical school, you know that PCC stands for patient-centered care, and it's basically where you learn about how to be a doctor. You learn how to ask those difficult questions. You learn how to speak with a patient. I don't personally need as much help in this department because I know how to speak to people, but I definitely think it's a very helpful class. And we also learn how to give a physical exam. We learn the specific questions to ask when we take a history, which I actually am going to get tested on that this week. I think I'll just take you all along for a weekly vlog, just so I can like show you what were we doing, because I think we're also doing blood draws this week too, which I'm excited about. But anyways, we had PCC from 2:30 to 5. So I wasn't really prepared for like the extra stuff besides lecture, because I honestly thought that our labs may be incorporated within lecture. I don't know, maybe I wasn't even thinking that at all, but I definitely thought I was going to have more free time. But I think with us having to do things 2 days out of the week from 2 to 4 or 2 to 5:30, that kind of like jumbled up my schedule and made it harder for me to come up with a study plan. I also think, specifically for me, when I moved into my apartment, it took a while for everything to get together. They rushed our renovation, so it took us about like 2 weeks to actually get everything settled, and even then half of our appliances were not working. So that affects my mental. I don't know about you, but it affects my mental when I don't have things done, when I feel like I can't even like wash my clothes, like I can't even wash my dishes. I feel like I'm in like a garbage can right now, you know, not being comfortable. That affects my mental, and that adds more stress to my life. I want to be able to come home and decompress, and then for this to be my happy place, and that's just not what I was feeling within the past month. I also didn't really have a lot of time to kind of just decompress and just enjoy the fact that I'm even here, because I went to one of my best friend's birthdays, and she's from Charlotte, so we had something to do in Charlotte, and I kind of left the very first weekend that I moved here. So it was like a lot going on. I think I just had like a busier schedule. So a lot of this stuff didn't have anything to really do with medical school. I think that if all that stuff was together and I felt great about my room and everything being done, me having everything, I probably would have felt more just at peace in general. But with everything not being done, I just felt like I had way too much on my plate. But I know you didn't come to talk about that, so I'll speak more about the medical side of things. So I feel like it's just so much information, you all. Like, we are literally learning 16 weeks worth of information in 3 to 4 weeks. Like, it's so much. So far we're talking about the immune system, and we've already talked about the adaptive and the innate immune system, and now we're going to be talking about like hypersensitivity this week and nutrition and things like that. So it moves so fast, and I think my advice to you all, if you're looking to be in medical school or if you just need some advice, would be to stay on top of your stuff every single day. I think the one mistake that I made was I like blew off microbiology lab, I blew off histology lab because it wasn't technically a part of like sit down lecture. Because we do have lectures where we like sit in the classroom and like, well, not really a classroom, it's more like an auditorium, and like we'll actually listen to the professors speak and the doctors speak about like what their PowerPoints are about. I will always pay attention to those things. But we also have histology lab, we have pathology lab sometimes. We only had it like once or twice, but like we do have that sometimes. And I think I would kind of just blow off the fact that, like, you know, it's a lab, it's not going to be that important. Whatever we get graded on will be within the lab itself, not on a test. No, they include a lot of things from the lab on our test. Our NBME exams, some questions do come from like lab questions, like what we learn in lab. So if you're trying to study, you know, for a test that you have tomorrow or in 2 days, you're going to be forgetting that. It's like you're going to have to study what you learned from lecture and then literally learn what you learned from histology lab or like the other like little itty-bitty things that you don't think are important. So my thing would be to pay attention to everything that you have to do for the day and make sure that you review those things the same day that you learned it. That way at least some of it will retain in your brain, and then when you go back to look at it, it won't feel foreign to you and you don't feel like you have to cram a bunch of stuff in. Because at the end of the day, medical school is hard. It's a lot of information. So even if you don't feel like you're cramming, or even if you do feel like you're cramming, you may not be cramming. Like I remember a couple days ago when I took my immunology test, like I thought I was cramming the day before because I just felt like it was so much information that I didn't know. But in the reality, it's just a lot of information. So sometimes it may not be cramming, sometimes it's just a lot of information. I would suggest finding a good study tool like Anki to help you just passively study and go through the things that, like, you know, you've learned but you don't actually have a good grasp on, because that's really good. And also, some schools will offer you resources like Boards and Beyond, First Aid, which I'll get into another video about how that's helping me. And Sketchy or Pixarize. I think I was sponsored by Pixarize a little minute ago, and so they basically use cartoon characters and like they kind of make things like a show, like where you kind of learn what does what and teaches you more about the body just in a more cartoon way. It's for visual learners. So I would use resources like that to be able to really ingrain some of those things in your head right after you learn it. Like, don't wait until tomorrow, don't wait until the day after. Do it now, because you're going to learn 4 different lectures the day after. So you really want to be prepared and stay on top of things. I don't care if you start your day late and you end up staying up late. Everybody has their own thing that works for them. I'm not knocking anybody that wakes up later to do their work. As long as you are going over the lecture and you're going over it again, like whether it's through a third party or whether it's through Anki, like go through them the day of. That way it's kind of like retained in your brain. That way you can kind of build on top of it for the next day. So I think that's kind of what I'm kind of struggling with. Not really because I can't do it. I think I just have a lot going on in life right now. I just feel like, why now? Why now, Lord? Why now? But you know, you get through it, and I'm going to get through it. And our apartment is perfectly fine now. Knock on wood. Hopefully that it stays that way. But as far as medical school goes, I'm learning that that is the way to maintain a balance. And like, I haven't even gone to the gym. I haven't really like eaten much. Like, I'm pretty sure my clothes fit me looser now because I've just been so locked in studying. But I know that's not healthy. So I'm still working to find a balance, y'all. It takes, I mean, I'm a pretty adaptable person. You know, I was a student athlete. I'm easy to move around and shift and be flexible and be fluid, but this is kind of testing that a little bit, and I'm down for the challenge. So I think, like I said, just staying on top of things. Whenever you start your day, like start your day at the same time every day. If you want to go to the gym before or after you learn your lectures or whatever, do that. But just stick to a schedule that you do every single day. Like, stick to a schedule. Make sure that like it does not change, because that's really going to help you in the long run, and it's going to give you more free time. I would even say plan your free time. Like, at this point, you're so busy that you have to plan your free time. Plan it and be intentional about it. That's my advice to you. I will also say sleep in. Don't sleep in. I would say get your sleep. I used to be one of those people that could go off of like 5-6 hours of sleep every single day. I can't do that anymore, y'all. We're learning so much every day. Our brains are so tired. Like, all of my classmates are going through that, where they're like, dang, I just took such a long nap, or dang, I slept in, I don't know why I couldn't get up, because we're so tired from learning so many things. Our brain is just going, and it's a muscle as well, so it needs to rest just like any of your other muscles in your body. So I would just say plan for that extra hour and a half of sleep. Like, go to sleep a little bit earlier if you know you're going to go to the gym before lecture. You don't have to go to lecture. Like, for our school, we don't have to go to lecture. We don't have to attend lecture. So if you want to go to the gym and then like watch your lecture a little bit later than when it started, you want to watch it and like maybe play it on 1.5 speed, do that. But stick to that and go to sleep in time. That way you can get enough hours to wake up and go to the gym and have the time to actually watch your lecture and not be behind. So my thing is just planning, you all. It's all about planning. That's what I'm learning so far. I'm hoping that this will work for me this week, because we don't have a test this week. I'm so happy. So far, like, our schedule is basically set for like an exam every week, because there's one week where we have like 2 exams and there's another week where we have like 1, but it ends up equaling out to basically an exam every week. So just prepare for that workload, and along with quizzes and everything else, you know. So that's really it for this video. That's all I have to say. I will include more of my studying tips in my weekly vlogs, just so you can know like what I do day in and day out. I'm still tweaking it, and it's important for everybody to know that like you're not going to get it right your first time, and if you do get it right, great. But I'm just all about balance, and I don't want to be, you know, just studying so much to where I'm not eating, I'm not, you know, working out. I'm not able to really enjoy the things that I want to do anymore, because I'm so stuck on studying all the time. So that's really it for this video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Short and sweet. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope that this helped you. Stay tuned for my next video, where I talk about all the things that I use to study and all the things that I needed for medical school. And I will see you guys in my next.